Welcome to the Rockstar Principles Podcast, coming straight to you from Rock and Roll, USA, covering the latest and greatest in educational leadership trends, news, and awesomeness for principals all over the world. Now, here are your hosts, the boss, John Ross, and the Doctor of Proctors, Nick Indeglio.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Rockstar Principles Podcast. And once again, it is now time for the Church of Whitaker.
Church of Whitaker.
Yes, please open your 18 Things That Great Principals Do Differently book to number 8, Understanding the Dynamics of Change.
Turn your world around.
It's not even close to the lyrics.
That's not?
And that's not what I was going for either. I was going with the Fonzie. You know how Fonzie couldn't say words? Sorry, I should have given you a heads up on that. You know how Fonzie couldn't say, those things, I was Fonzie reference. There we go. Let's put that in there. I'm referencing Fonzie. It might be the first podcast ever to reference Fonzie.
Just so you guys know, John and I just spent about 10 minutes prepping for this segment with all this really good educational stuff, and we're already off topic
Fonzie.
talking about Happy Days.
So anyway, getting back to my crude reference, people really have a hard time with change, and that's something that is just, as people, I think that's something, no matter what the profession, no matter what the situation, even not professionally, but just as human beings. Change is a difficult thing to deal with. And understanding, as Dr. Whitaker, the point Dr. Whitaker is making, is that you have to understand the dynamics of change. You have to understand that it's a process, and that as a leader, you have this great, fantastic, at least this is my interpretation of what Dr. Whitaker is trying to say. You have this great, wonderful idea that you are proposing to your people, to your staff, and you roll it out, and they're not, they're not ready to throw rose petals at your feet and carry you like a conquering hero down the boulevard. As great as the idea is, there's going to be a change process, and that people need time to understand that change process. And as the leader, you have to understand that there will be some time for people to accept it and to get on board with it. They'll need to see that it works. They'll need to see the process and how it evolves, and whether or not it's what's best for the school and what's best for kids. You need to understand that process takes time. Some folks, it may just take a couple of hours, for them to research it on their own, for them to find out what they can about it. Other people, it might take months, it might take years until they can see the true benefits of the change that you're making. And some people are never going to accept it. Some people, I joke all the time with people about the words I don't like hearing is the kids today. Anytime somebody starts a sentence with the kids today, they're not about to say something nice. They're not about to say the kids today are fantastic and smart and able to do so many more things than what we were able to do. No, it's always negative things. And that's people referencing what they think are the good old days, when in reality the good old days really weren't as good as we thought they were. I think there's a song lyric that I may be referencing a song lyric now. But the change that we go through as people, and we long for the old days, you need to let go of that. You need to understand that that's part of the process.
Well, and since you mentioned Henry Winkler, let's use Henry Winkler as an example of this.
Fonzie?
Hey. I'm going to take it a step further than that. At H. Winkler, numeral 4, real. H. Winkler 4 real.
Uh-oh.
That is Henry Winkler's
hit him up on Twitter
handle. We just followed him.
He's second only to Todd Whitaker, I'd have to say. And when I'm not referencing Family Guy here, because I know Family Guy did a whole episode on the Church of Fonzie.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was on the other night. It replays.
Not that we watch those in kind of inappropriate shows, because we certainly do. I heard about it.
So anyway, look at Henry Winkler. Let's start with that, right? The good old days was Happy Days. I mean, there wasn't a bigger star in America at that time than Henry Winkler. Now, as Henry Winkler got older...
I can't wait to see this connection that you're about to make.
Did he hang on to the glory days and the good old days? Or...
Outstanding.
Did he go further? Henry Winkler He's an author, he's a producer, and he's still an actor. And let's look at his past couple roles. Now, I know there's other ones, but I'm going to talk about the ones that I like.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James.
I wonder why you like that one. That wouldn't happen to be a wrestling movie.
Well, it's MMA, but it's relative.
Okay.
Henry Winkler plays a music teacher who is the complete antithesis of Fonzie and is hilarious in the entire role. He was in Waterboy.
Waterboy. That's the first one I thought of. Henry Winkler in Waterboy is an outstanding portrayal of a change of someone who has embraced a completely different character.
Yes.
And he refused to be typecast as this Fonzie cool guy. He completely changed. That's a perfect example. Wow, we could have planned this better.
We just somehow worked Henry Winkler into the
Yeah.
change process. We're gonna hit him up on Twitter. We're gonna let him know
up on Twitter
because we love this guy. Church of Whitaker and the Church of Fonzie. It's
That
relative.
I can't believe we've made this connection. But anyway, getting back to number 8, understanding the dynamics of change. What's your comment on that in education, in the education field?
I think you touched on, and I know that Dr. Whitaker's point goes much deeper than, his is really, he's really getting into systems and the entire true process of it. But just from our level, if you're as a principal ready to make that change and you've chosen it, again, we'll use the term as a hill worth dying on. If you don't understand the dynamics of change, if you don't understand the change process, you're going to be blindsided by the things that are going to happen. You talked about them. The implementation dip, the resistors, the bandwagon jumpers. If you're not ready to deal with each of those things ahead, it can ruin your whole initiative. It can blindside you. It can knock you off the pedestal. So you got to be ready for those things. There are a couple books, though, we wanted to touch on as well within this topic that are relative. First,
books and authors second only to
Henry
Dr.
Winkler.
Todd Whitaker. Oh.
I'm on the Henry Winkler kick. I can't get off of it. No, in all seriousness, when we were interviewing Dr. Wert, and you'll be hearing another segment from that interview, one of her favorite people in the field of education is Michael Fullan. At Michael Fullan1 is his Twitter handle. And we're not even going to reference a single book from Michael Fullan because he's written so many. Yeah. But they're directly tied to the principalship, and he talks a lot about change in the educational realm. So it's a good start to understanding the process. That would just be like a good segue into the field. One that you were really big on, and it was our book 2 years ago that our superintendent, Dr. Mussolini, had us read as an administrative team. It's a book called Inevitable. It's by Charles Schwann and Beatrice McGarvey, and you can follow Beatrice at Twitter, at BEAMCGARVEY, at B McGarvey. But John, talk about what impact that book Inevitable had on you.
Well, it's I can't believe this hasn't taken off more than it has, this book. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, Inevitable, mass customized learning. And that's the part that really kind of struck me. It's just the whole mass customization. They talk about how companies, again referencing major corporations, but you think about Apple and Amazon and Verizon, and how they customize things to their clients. How if you go in and you purchase something on Amazon, then you immediately get, here's some other things you might like if you like that product. Same thing with like iTunes and Apple. So they customize their products to their buyers, and how it's important that as educators that we begin to customize the learning, that we customize what our learners need. Completely 180 degrees different from the experience, at least that I had as a kid, where it was the teacher, I think you use the phrase sage on the stage all the time.
Yep, guide on the side.
The teacher standing up in front, reading from their notes, using the same notes on their blackboard all day long, and we just sitting there, extemporaneously just taking note after note after note after note, and then going home and studying off of those notes about how it's important now as educators that we find out how kids learn, how they learn best, what are the things that they're able to connect with best, and we present the information that way. I think that's the kind of change that really threw me for a loop, and really I think struck a chord with a lot of folks that were reading that book with us. And that's the kind of change I think that is major that Dr. Whitaker's talking about, that people are going to have a hard time putting wrapping their mind around the idea that, as the teacher, I have to change the way I teach because of the kids I'm working with? Yeah, that's what you have to do. Because if you're going to get those kids to learn, you have to find a way to connect with them and to get the information across to them at their level.
Go back a couple podcasts. If you're just picking up listening to the most current version of the Rockstars Principles podcast, go back to our talk about bring your own device, where we kind of talk about how to initiate that. But let's go to the philosophy of that for just a minute. You can't even begin to understand, unless you're trying to implement something like this and you're currently a principal or in a leadership role, the resistance there is to bring your own device. And let's be real, that resistance is simply fear on the part of teachers, administration, parents, to let us engage in the world we're currently living in. So let's be honest. Here we are, working in an antiquated K-12 structure. It is antiquated. We're switching periods.
Based on the assembly line structure of Henry Ford.
Yeah, working the bells. 45 minutes we switch. Subjects separated. Oh, math and science aren't related. We can't have those two things working together. So let's take it a step further. The kids today are living with their devices. Their phones, their pads, their laptops, they are connected all the time. And what do we do when we bring them in the schools? Power them down. Turn them off. Because we are afraid of the way kids are learning today. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
We're not. I'm going to stop there. I think
it will lead nicely into some of the articles that we're going to be talking about in the near future. One of which was some recent research by Gardner, who's famous for his multiple intelligences, but how this is the app generation, about how this generation of kids are used to being able to access things quickly and having things customized to them. We've digressed significantly from Dr. Whitaker here, by the way, but this is just, again, another example of it, is that, understanding that, as you said, there's a fear component to BYOD. And as the leaders, we have to understand that there are going to be people, various levels of that fear. And guess what? Some of it is legitimate fear. I have the fear too. I have concerns. I have things that worry me about going with an initiative like BYOD. But I think it's worth it. I think we owe it to the kids to meet that fear head on and find ways to work around that fear rather than just hiding in the dark because we're afraid.
Just to take that one step further on the Howard Gardner piece, we are going to talk about his new book. It might, in fact, be an entire episode. Check it out at Howard_Gardner_. That's his Twitter handle. The app generation, I believe, is part of the title, at least. I know I have some of that wrong.
That's it.
So if you're picking up your books, Aspiring Principals, Current Principals, if you're looking for the good stuff to read, once you're past your Michael Fullan, check out Inevitable. And then another great book by Tony Wagner, Dr. Tony Wagner. It's called Change Leadership.
All of these after you read all of the works of Todd Whitaker, by the way. Of course. Should be first.
Yeah. And anything by Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler. I don't know if he's published anything. But you want to pick up Henry Winkler's books as well.
Yeah, there's some good stuff out there I think he wrote.
Hey.
At Dr. Tony Wagner, Change Leadership is the book. Check him out.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plugging it left and right today. Let's wrap this one up.
Yes, so as we conclude number 8 in the 18 things that great principals do differently, as we prepare for our meeting face-to-face with the man, Dr. Todd Whitaker, we will now close number 8. Stay tuned to the Rockstar Principles podcast.
And now a word from our fake sponsors. But we'd really love if they were our real sponsors. Seriously, we would love it.
This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And now, part 2 of the interview with nationally distinguished principal, Dr. Dina Wert. Joined in progress. Okay, so let me ask the flip side to that question, and then we can stop talking about the research. What are the challenges? What are the threats? What are the things that, if you left this role earlier than you planned to, what would be the main things that would have driven you to that? Basically, threats to longevity.
Threats to longevity, probably where public ed is right now. It's in a very precarious position, which, is exciting. It's on a precipice of change, I believe, and something big needs to happen. And I don't know what that is or where that's going or It's exciting if you look at it from that perspective, because, oh my gosh, who knows what it can be, and we can be on the edge of that. But on the flip side, it's like, holy crap. Can I say crap?
You can say
You
crap.
just did.
Okay, thanks. You might have to edit that out. But
You can say crap, damn,
okay, are there acceptable ones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, you could probably say anything
because we can bleep it out later.
because we can believe.
Oh,
that,
good. Okay.
But, we'd prefer it if you didn't.
Okay, I won't, because that's a lot of
But
work.
crap's fun.
That's a lot of work for Nick. Well, but there's a lot of even in the short time in the 12 years I've been a principal, the role has changed dramatically, and the mandates and the things on the plate and the I don't want to say the one more thing, because I always say the plate is small, the things on it are heaping, they're all healthy things on the plate, but it's just a matter of, what's the best way to digest them without getting indigestion and ending up in the hospital. So I would say that the demands of the job would push me out. There's just a lot. And, for 12 years, you never perfect the job, but you think you sort of have a routine, and although, you need to be flexible to change with what's coming down the pike, there's a lot of change. So
let's talk about the National Distinguished Principal Award.
Stop. Okay.
Because since the two of you had the doctorate in common,
Okay. Yes.
I feel comfortable with saying that Dr. Wert and I have those three initials in common. Yes, high five.
High
absolutely.
fives. Yep.
So the National Distinguished Principal Award sponsored by NAESP, National Association of National Association
Don't
of
forget
Elementary
the
School
E,
Principals.
please. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what does that mean to you? Getting that recognition, winning that award for the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even sure it has sunk in yet. It just, I'm almost, believe it or not, speechless. I know that doesn't bode well on a podcast, but I'm very humbled. There are just so many people that do amazing things, and to be singled out is just is very humbling. I don't think it's set in yet, even though I did get my gown.
Did you?
And yes, and
That's
a new pair of
coming
shoes.
up, right?
It is next week. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
In less than a week. So yeah, it's been a really nice honor, and
So let's talk about in the next 10 days, you are going to travel to both Washington, D.C. for the national
Correct.
recognition.
Correct.
And then following that, you're going to be joining us at State College, Pennsylvania for the Pennsylvania
Shindig.
recognition.
Yep.
Shindig. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So they're doing it different. When I won my award
okay.
in 2009, we had the state conference first, and then we went to the national.
Okay.
If my memory serves me correctly, unless I'm getting older, in which case
Well, you are,
we'll
but,
edit this
yeah.
out. Right. You have any idea what you're in store for? Do you have any idea
I
what that's going to be
I just
like?
hear it's amazing. I have they had sent an itinerary, a preliminary itinerary, that's changed every time they send it, but that's okay. It's just going to be a whirlwind. I'm really looking forward to the camaraderie, the networking, the meeting other amazing people. We're in Zone 4, of course, of our Pennsylvania principalship, and Missy Patchke's going up.
Yeah, we should give a shout out to
and
Missy.
Missy,
absolutely.
shout out to Missy.
I don't think you've met Missy yet, Dr. Nick.
I don't think I have.
We did our
You'll be meeting her at
dissertations
State College.
Nice.
This is
She's amazing.
The national representative, the Region 4. There's a region, NAESP regions. She's basically in charge of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Southern New York, I think, Maryland.
There's like
There's
three
a
or
couple
four
of
us,
states in
yeah.
our area that she's the national representative for.
Is she the one who's going to kick us out of State College?
Well,
She'll be joining you.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
But Missy and Dina, you worked together, correct?
No,
Or
we did our
you
dissertations
did.
together.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
correct. That's right.
yeah.
You did your dissertation
We
together.
have, yeah.
Missy's in the Springford
Correct.
School District.
Correct.
Elementary principal in
She's an
Springford
inspiration
School
and a mentor and
She's
another amazing.
phenomenal. Absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal. Also lives in Berks County, by
Yes,
the
she
way.
does.
I should mention
Yes,
Berks
she
County.
does.
Shout out.
What
So
can we
she,
say?
so she works with Mitch Edmonds, who's another elementary principal in Springford,
Oh,
who
could
used to be in Upper Marion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
small world.
But
Yes.
the really small world, and we're really going to start losing people here. But
Yeah.
Missy was the principal at the Amity Primary Center.
Yes.
Where
Oh,
my
Daniel
daughter
Boone.
now attends.
Yes.
Right in our school
That's
district.
true.
Missy was the principal there when they opened up the building. If you go there now, her name, I was there from one of my daughter's events earlier in the year. Her name's still up on the wall
I don't
there.
think she was
for when
Patchke
they-
then, though. She might have been something
I
else.
think she
was.
was.
She? Okay.
Although it might have been a hyphen. It might have been a hyphen.
Okay.
Gotta watch out for those hyphens.
I'm
I
not
know.
sure.
Yeah.
They
I'm
could
not
be
sure,
dangerous.
but I did recognize her name. But yeah, and she told me about that. So shout out to
Cool.
Missy. We'll have to get Missy on here eventually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
she'll be
matter
a
of fact,
good-
when we're at
Get her
State
in State
College,
College.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we'll talk her into it at State College because
So-
she will definitely join our conversation. But yeah, you're in store for just
That's what I
an
hear.
amazing time, and as you said, the best part of winning that award, aside from the recognition and your family and
Yeah.
feeling some sense of validation for
Yeah.
the hard work that you've done, the networking at that national event is like nothing you will ever experience again.
Yeah.
Just the people that you'll talk to and the ideas that you'll get from one another.
Well,
is
and
just fantastic.
maybe Hawaii will invite me out.
That's true. You know what? I
to
should have gone
say-
into it with that mindset and maybe targeted the state of Hawaii and
I
tried to
just-
develop. See, I focused on New Jersey and New
No,
York.
no,
I should have jumped outside of that comfort zone.
I'll
And
ask
maybe,
about their middle
maybe-
school principals
yeah,
too.
it's
Maybe we can
probably
make
too
it
late.
Yeah,
a...
work
Probably
at
too late.
work Hawaii. We thought we had an in. We got we're reviewing a book from
That's right.
a teacher who was
The
from
guy's
Hawaii.
a teacher in
Oh,
Hawaii.
He sent
okay.
it to us. We're going to actually have him on next week, but he's since moved to Oregon.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to go to Oregon.
Or there's probably some good fly fishing up in Oregon, so I might actually.
Oh, no, that's
possibly.
Washington. Sorry.
Yeah.
The river runs through it a little bit of that.
Yeah, they're close. They're close.
Well, that's going to be good. That's a good time.
I'm looking
and
forward
we're-
to it. Thank
yeah.
you. Don't spoil any of the surprises.
I'm not going to spoil anything
Okay.
else. I've told you more than enough about what you're in store for.
Okay.
But it is definitely something for the rest of your life that
Cool.
you'll
I'm
hold
psyched.
on. You'll hold on to for
I'm
sure.
excited.
Well, so here's a question that builds on that. Recognizing the importance of this kind of award, which is just awesome. No other way to put it. For an aspiring elementary principal who wants to reach the level that you're at, what advice would you have for them as they're starting out or looking for their roles and beginning their careers in administration?
Notice the sentence ended in a preposition in that question. by
I
the way.
know.
Because we're from
That's
Berks
right.
County.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
And
Just wanted to
I
point
don't.
that
I didn't
out.
even blink because yeah. What was the question?
I'm sorry. Other elementary
what would I-
principals
what would
that
I-
aspire-
yeah,
What advice
aspiring.
would you give to the person sitting across from you at the table who says, "I want to be like you. What do I have to do in this job?"
Oh, well, first of all, I'd say find a different role model. But I think what's really important is you need to find a mentor. And I don't mean someone and that was my dissertation, by the way, principal mentorship, but which I won't quote here. But
Quote away.
I think that's really important to have someone that you can call, that you can touch base with, with whom you can touch base, that you can just sort of double, whether that's in your own district, it's better if it's in your own district, but just to have someone that understands this job. Because if you aren't in this job, you don't get it. You just don't get it. You can't explain it.
That is so huge. I've
can't
never really even thought about
Oh
that
my
before,
gosh! Well,
but
I'm
yeah.
married to an engineer, and he's changed in our 24 years of marriage from summers off kind of mentality until he saw what summers really were or weren't. To what I do and my 10-hour days, and that doesn't count my driving, and still do more when you get home, and it's a job that if you don't do it, you don't understand it. And people will say, well, in the real world, well, you know what, this is our world. So I hate to tell you, if this isn't real, and if the safety of 600 kids isn't real, if dealing with parents and test scores and state mandates isn't real, then I don't know what is. But you can't do this job by yourself. You cannot, and you need to have someone. So that's what would be my suggestion. And not me, because I'm too busy. So no, I'm just kidding. just kidding. I would support anyone.
But funny you say that, and you mentioned you did your dissertation on this very topic. One of the things that John and I found that we had in common when we first got to know each other, again, for those of you who haven't heard through the podcast, we took our roles at approximately the same time in the district. John had been a head principal much longer, and I was coming as an assistant from the high school. But we got to spend a lot of time together, and I noticed that we both had very strong mentors in the field. Dr. Galley for John, and John Nodecker for me, coming from different places. So hearing you say having a strong mentor is important strikes a chord, because it's resonant, I think, with people that I've become close to that have that. So
yeah, and even still, I started in 2001 as well. So I'm 12, 13 years as a principal, And I still talk to my mentor
Yep.
about stuff. I still call him.
So do
He's
I.
retired,
Yep. Same.
living the retired life, and I still call him and have conversations with him about other things, but
Right.
about the job and
Yep.
about, he went on to become a superintendent. So he had even said, that the job has changed so much.
Yep.
I don't know that I could do it.
Yep.
That he doesn't know that, and he was a Pennsylvania State Principal of the Year. He was a former, not an NDP, but
Right,
the secondary
before that,
level,
exactly.
NASSP.
Okay.
Has the high school principal and the
Got
middle
it.
school principal of the year. It was 96.
Okay.
I think it was 1996, Pennsylvania State Middle School Principal of the
Okay.
Year. And to hear him say, I could not do the job now in 2013.
It's changed so
I mean,
much.
it's just in the amount that it has
It
changed,
is.
right? But it's still good to
Yeah.
have somebody like that you can, even now 12 years into the job, that you
Same.
can call and talk
And
to.
I
So
have
who's
to.
your mentor?
Well, I was going to say, can I give a shout
Yeah.
out to
Yes.
Nancy Sinkus, my mentor in life and principalship, and she is also retired. And we still call. We used to call each other. She had to drive in the morning. We were both early morning people, so we talk on the way in at 6:30 in the morning, and then when we get into school, we
Where was Nancy principal?
Nancy was a principal in Shiloh Hills in the Wilson School District,
Okay.
and she's now actually teaching at Berks campus in Penn State.
Penn
Berks
State,
campus.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go State.
Berks County again?
Yeah, Berks County again.
And Penn State,
that
two
connection.
references there, yeah.
So, so we still keep in touch, and I remember when she retired, she said, you know what the best part of retirement is, because she had a hard time retiring. She loved what she was doing, and but she said the best part is not worrying, not having that pit in your gut about safety. Worrying what if is today the day, is what do we do if, and knowing that after however many years she had in, that I kept kids safe, but because that's just another big huge slice of the pie. So.
It is.
But yeah, mentorship really important.
That's huge. I'm like, knock me on my backside just think, because that's really something I'd never really given a whole lot of thought about when talking to people, teachers who were thinking about becoming
Right.
principals, that they should really find somebody that they really can identify with and latch onto that person and maintain that level of contact is great.
Does that mean Farina's going to be twice as good as both of us if we're both his
Oh
mentors?
my gosh.
I don't know.
He's got quite a future
I think at some
ahead
point,
of him.
The inverse.
I think at some point he's going to have to choose. We're going to have to force him to choose.
Yeah, what does that
We will
happen?
reach a point where we will both be standing there in some sort of ceremony. I picture a ceremony
Ceremony?
where
It's like
he
the
walks
Sith.
in a robe and he
Yeah.
has to,
He has to choose.
between the two of us.
There can only be two, the
That's
master
right.
and the apprentice.
That's right. Yeah. Poor Rob.
Rough.
That's Nick's assistant principal, Rob Farina,
Who
Yeah.
worked for John.
Good guy.
who worked for me
previously.
formerly. Right.
Oh,
right.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yeah. Rob and I were in Upper Darby together when I was at Drexel Hill Middle School. Rob was
Okay.
a teacher of mine at Drexel Hill Middle School, and I actually taught his graduate class for his principalship.
Oh, wow.
At Cabrini,
Okay.
I was an adjunct professor at
Okay.
Cabrini at the time, so I taught him in class. So, I was his mentor, but now
Well,
I've
that's
passed him
fair.
off to Dr.
He'll have
Nick.
the best of
and-
both.
Yeah, I want him to pick. I would rather put him in the position of to
But
pick.
now let's
I know
be
that's
fair,
important.
though, because you might have taught him his master's classes, but guess who's about to start teaching him his doctoral
Yeah,
classes?
is he aware of that?
Oh.
He does. He has an inkling, but he's not
Yeah,
totally
we'll
sure
find
yet.
out now.
Thanks for helping RSP top the charts in the Edu podcast world. Keep it real with Twisted Steel and School Appeal.